Sean. I know that's tough. It kind of depends on what the day of the week it is, honestly. I mean, I really am motivated. Like, I'd have to say it's still jazz at the end of the day, you know, because to me, but that's such a catch-all phrase. Again, jazz to me means everything from, some of you know who like Charlie Hunter, or to you know, of course, Louis Armstrong, to Count Basie, but also to you know, John Coltrane. I mean, just anybody and everybody. I love, you know, a lot of different styles. But that's, I say jazz in its different iterations, if you will, and even like now, and it's particularly the way it's influencing a lot of modern styles. A lot of the college guys here, I know there's a lot of staff probably know people like Modesty Martin Wood, people like that. There's just Bad Plus. Those groups just blow my mind. They're so cool.
What is it, Bad Plus?
The Bad Plus. Yeah, they're neat. They're a group out of Minnesota. The guy's drummer's name is Dave. I'm sorry. I know he's got another band called Happy Apple, and they're both amazing, cool. They're goofy names, but incredible. Bad Plus for the moms and dads in here. They take like Blondie, Heart of Glass, and those old songs, a lot of those disco tunes, and they'll do them as jazz tunes with these incredible arrangements. Sorry, buddy, were you asking?
What's your favorite drummer besides yourself?
I'll promise you, I'm not my favorite drummer. I'm definitely not me. Like I said, you know, it depends. There's a mixture of people I know and people I like admire from afar. Again, guys like Jeff, Richard, all the guys I grew up with around here. There's some, you know, some really great players. I mean, this town is, you know, Stan Lynch from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, still one of the hardest drummers to emulate. I mean, I tease him. He calls it not wanting to work in the mailroom. I don't play drums that much anymore. I'm like, man, all I know is you did a good job in the mailroom, and you know, and that's because that's somebody. He was a huge influence when I was your age. The Heartbreakers were my band. You know, growing up, I just love. I mean, still to this day. And that's how my connection with the Sister Hazel guys, Kim and Andrew, and I grew up together, and we used to play. You know, we'd play parties, you know, down, you know, the parents and people who've been around here a long time, the old Legion Hall and University, we, you know, rented out and did play shows and stuff like that. You know, we were like 16, and Stan was my hero, you know, like growing up. But I would have to say, these days, it's probably a lot of the drummers from Cuba, particularly, and these gospel drummers. This guy named Ronald Bruner Jr. It's like kind of my guy now. But again, you see, I have a hard time like locking in. Stuart Copeland would be the all-time hero. If there's a guy that just, if I feel like affected me, it's a guy named Stuart, you know, Stuart, of course, and a guy named, I'm so stupid, I can't believe that, Phil Gould. Anybody ever hear of a band called Level 42? Right? They're not real well known here in the States. They're an English band. They had a couple hits here in the United States in the 80s, but Phil Gould to me is really like, if there's somebody who I feel like I play like, and he had a huge influence on me, it'd be Phil Gould matched up with Stuart Copeland. Have you heard the Police at all? You ever heard that song? Roxanne? A little bit. Yeah, we won't have me singing. That's like I said. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What are you using to mute that 22 bass?
Oh, on the 22. Incredible. I'm using the Remo. That's a Power Stroke 3. You see, I have to like look. This kid's been over there. But it's the mute in it is one of those the Evans EQ. I'm sorry, Remo, my bad. But that's the Bruce will forgive me, Remo. But
that means they got to throw you one of those or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Remo equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. Where's that Remo equivalent? And that brings me to a real quick point too. I'm sorry, stupid aside. I got to say thank you to my sponsors, Remo, Vic Firth, Pearl, Zildjian. Zildjian, technically, guys, I'm not sponsored by Zildjian. I work for Zildjian. They're very nice to me. They help me out, let me get stuff at a really good deal, and they're great people. But I actually work on their behalf, working in like guitar centers in Sam Ashland. But again, those companies are so fantastic about anything that ever, if it's for y'all, for education, for people. I mean, you know, they got to make money and it's a business. But then those people that are at those companies really, you know, care about you guys. They're drummers too. They're excited about it. I want to help you. So, but anyways, the rest of it is. It's a Power Stroke 3. It's a clear head. I usually use Power Stroke 3 codeds for my rock gigs, and most of my most of the work I'm doing now is, like I say, it's kind of southern rock country. I mean, that's mostly what I'm playing. That's what Bucky is. He's like, if you like Sister Hazel, you'd like Bucky. Our band is very much like that. Bucky's twin brother Rocky plays congas with us. He's actually playing my hand percussion setup that I use with Sister Hazel. So for some of you that don't know, I also play. That's through the years, I've always played with Mark, Sister Hazel's drummer. I either substitute for him, fill in when he gets sick or has time off, or he and his wife went diving last year, and I filled in for like 5 days, did some shows. So I'm kind of, Ryan, the guitar player, and Sister Hazel calls me the sixth Beatle or something, and he jokes with me. But I've played with those guys forever. I mean, from every incarnation of that band, of Ken and Andrew and I playing out at TGI Fridays, playing acoustic gigs with congas. but I do a lot of hand percussion. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. So and with the new gig with Bucky, they've got my whole rig with that. He's got like 3 pearl congas, a set of my pearl timbales, the whole thing, and kind of push pearl. He teases me all the time. He's like, "Do you own anything that doesn't say pearl?" So that's really, again, I've been really blessed to be hooked up with them. They've been fantastic. So that's kind of, as far as tuning, it really depends on setups for bass drums. I like to go for, this drum is a lot more, it's really not like my ideal, this sound, I mean, it's got a big presence to it, it's good. My buddy Chris loves it. I personally would like it to have to be a little bit more kind of funky, kind of, somewhere in that. We just threw that head on. That's kind of, I like, if you've ever heard that kind of, again, that New Orleans-y bass drum, that real poop, 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 where there's almost like a pitch to it. And a lot of sound men don't like that. You go in and sound like play somewhere live, and they hate for the bass drum to have a pitch. But in jazz, and that's very an aesthetic that's really desirable. Yeah, but no, not normally. It's just, honestly, I was in shorts and I wanted to change it to something halfway presentable. My mom would shoot me for what I'm wearing, but fashion never been my strong suit. But no, I actually play usually, so you ever see those like little track running shoes? Because I play in those, but I also, for years, honestly, played big old heavy boots. It's not like I'm out here, tearing the world on fire playing 30-second notes with my bass drum. If I have to do that, I definitely play with some lightweight shoes. Because the barefoot thing, how many of y'all have ever tried that, like playing a whole, like maybe the older players playing a whole gig barefoot? What happens the next day? What's that? Yeah, blister and owie, right? Like the bone in your foot. Walk. So I kind of usually try and wear shoes doing